So today it's time for a new topic, and I'm tackling one that is a subject matter I get asked all the time. And honestly, one I'm really passionate about because I personally have lived in new construction homes for most of my adult life. Should you have your own realtor when buying brand new construction? Meaning, do you want a realtor by your side, or do you just want to chat and deal with the salesperson? Spoiler alert, 100%. Hey everyone, welcome back to Live, Love, Beach to Bay, your go-to channel for everything you need to know about relocating to coastal Delaware. It's Debbie Ziskowski, and if you are new here, welcome. We talk real estate, lifestyle, communities, and everything in between to really help you make the smartest, most confident move to the Delaware coast. So today's video, do you need a realtor by your side with new construction? I'm going to really talk about it all, the pros, the cons, what to watch out for, and how it plays out specifically here in coastal Delaware, because we have a booming new construction market. So whether you're eyeing a new build in Millsboro, a community near Lewes, something more beachfront, like in Rehoboth, or anywhere in between, this video is for you. Let's get into it. So let's really jump right into it. So the big myth, it's the big myth. The builder covers my costs. Absolutely not. So first things first, let me bust that number one myth that I hear buyers considering new construction. Oh, it's less expensive to buy new construction because the builder covers all of my costs. I don't need my own agent because the builder will cover my costs. And so on and so on and so on. I'll just use theirs. Well, first and foremost, they are not realtors in these new construction offices. They're salespeople. They're great. I love them. I'm going to say something ironic. Many of them are really, really good friends of mine. But the individual in a builder's rep's office is an on-site sales agent. That agent works directly for the builder. Okay, so whose interest do they have most focused on? They've got the builder's interest. Their entire job, their entire position, their entire focus is to sell homes for the best terms possible for the builder, okay? So here's the thing about compensation in new construction. Most builders, meaning, and not every builder, at some other point tell you which builders will not, they really understand and want realtors to bring great clients to their properties, communities, etc. And therefore, the builder will build into his equation the cost of marketing and compensating a buyer's represented realtor. But if you're unrepresented, you're giving up that advocacy. So really, you're relying on the salesperson to do it for you. And who, again, do they work for? They work for the builder, okay? I'll say it again. The builder's agent, which is really a salesperson, works for the builder. So you walk into this gorgeous model home in coastal Delaware. Everything is staged perfectly. They hire designers to do this. The upgrades are sparkling and so enticing. And these sales agents are friendly and helpful. Of course they are. They want you to buy a home in their community. But I'm going to say it again. They work for the builder. They are incredible resources. They can talk exactly which cabinet is which cabinet, what hard surface is in the kitchen, what are the upgrades. But the critical thing that you absolutely must understand is the agent, meaning the sales agent for the builder, has a fiduciary responsibility to the builder, not you. If you choose to work with me or another professional realtor, have a fiduciary responsibility to you. I'm going to help you negotiate. I'm going to help you lean in and get the absolute best bottom line for you, not for the builder, okay? These sales reps, and I'm going to call them sales reps because I think it's a much more appropriate title. They are really advocating for the builder. And there's just things that you're going to, want a buyer's rep, meaning Debbie or someone else, to really represent you. You're going to want someone to attend the walkthroughs, the pre-drywall walkthrough, the wiring walkthrough, the color choices. You're going to want your realtor to really be at your side or advocating for you in your absence, okay? Hey guys, as much as I absolutely love making these videos, what I love the absolute most in making the videos is really talking, encouraging, nurturing your desire to know more about coastal Delaware. I've helped countless families. I've helped families from the Mid-Atlantic. I've helped families from the South. I've helped individuals from Metro New York and New England gather the information that helps them make the right decision if relocating here is what they truly want to do. So whether you're coming out next week, next month, or for gosh sakes in 2027, I would absolutely love to connect with you. If you've missed the on-screen pop-up, you can certainly find again all of my contact information linked below. Realtors work for their clients. In this case, you would be my client and I would be working for you. So here's the other, kind of elephant in the room. You don't pay anything extra, okay? I'm a pro and I truly do not get paid until we get to the settlement table. And in the case of new construction, the builder pays me. You do not pay me, okay? And we don't call it commission anymore, we call it compensation. It's baked into the builder's cost model. So if the builder's not paying Debbie or another professional realtor, I can guarantee you that he is not adding those coins to your column. He's just pocketing a little bit more. So you really want to work with someone who understands the process. I will tell you about 50% of my business today is new construction because there is so much to choose from here in coastal Delaware. So I really want to make sure that you're looking at who's going to advocate for me. If it costs you nothing and it gets you more and it gets you someone in your corner who's going to ask the questions, push the buttons, get you a little bit more, why the heck not? Okay? Now I always want to be extremely transparent. There are some small custom builders and in very specific situations where that compensation structure is different. And this is exactly why you want an experienced agent who knows this market. I can walk you through all of the specifics before you ever step foot in the sales office. I could tell you, just about an hour ago, I'm working with a client who's going to be meeting with some new construction communities tomorrow. I'm joining them to really, again, advocate for them. Contract negotiation and upgrade leverage. Again, those model homes, they're shiny, they're new, they're absolutely impeccable, they're so enticing, and you want it all. But the price is truly not fixed. Those upgrades can add an unbelievable cost to the bottom line that you're paying. So you really, again, want a pro who's really going to lean in and hope to get you some of those upgrades for maybe a reduced price, a discount, etc. It's kind of like negotiating a resale. Let your professional realtor partner flex in and flex on some of those costs. Doesn't always happen, but I have actually offered below that bottom line that the sales rep said, oh, we can't go any lower than this. And I said, let's try. And on more than one occasion, they've come back and they said, senior leadership said, we're gonna do it for that price. Okay, so there's just so much that we can ask for. We can ask for closing assistance. We can ask for appliance upgrades. We can ask for flexibility on closing dates. Here in coastal Delaware, we have a very, very active new construction market. Builders like Shell Brothers, I call it K. Hove, Beazer, Lennar, D.R. Horton, DRB, Evergreen Homes. These are all fabulous builders. Many of them are custom and exclusive to coastal Delaware. They all have different incentive structures. Some are offering it in financing, some are offering it in closing help, some are offering a screened-in porch or some upgrades. But you really want to work with a pro who's going to ask the questions, and when they say, that's it, she or he should be saying, what else can you do for us? Because you want our business. And the conversation that is going to get you the absolute most is the conversation where, whomever that pro is who's working side by side with you just doesn't stop. She or he's got to be pretty tenacious, okay? So here's another piece of it. I said, who's going to advocate for you when you're not here? So many of our buyers are from out of state. I will attend all of those inspections, the pre-drywall, the walkthrough, the appliance install, the paint and finish work. Let someone with eyes and knowledge be here when you can't be, to make sure that there's nothing that is going on in this new construction build that you're going to be disappointed when those keys get handed to you at the settlement table. New construction hiccups They happen, okay? A crack in the foundation, a pipe that comes ajar, etc. And even though you do get fabulous warranties in new construction, why not catch it first? Why not before the walls are closed in and the final paint goes up and the wainscoting and the chair rail is up? Let's find out what those hiccups are and let's make sure that we've got them corrected. Another reminder, the builder's inspector, who do you think the builder's inspector works for? Kind of like those sales reps in the office, they work for the builder. And while they are obligated and they are of the highest integrity, and I'm confident that they would find it if they see it, but you may want to hire, again, ask Debbie to attend, a third-party inspector to do that inspection for you to make sure that everything that is supposed to be seen and dealt with and fixed and corrected and all those hiccups are literally taken care of. Let's get them done before the walls are sealed, the paint's on, and I'll say it again, the chair rail, the wainscoting, the appliances are installed. Let's make sure that we've definitely dotted the I's and crossed the T's, okay? If an issue is found, it happens from time to time, let your agent advocate for the builder to get it fixed before closing, not, oh, we'll come back 30 days, we'll take care of it. Absolutely not. Having an agent leaning in for you is gonna make sure that it gets taken care of first, before closing day, okay? You just wanna be protective. If you've ever been through a new construction purchase, you know the timeline the builder gives you at the start is more of a suggestion. I would say it's fluid, whether it's supply chain issues, whether it's labor shortages, whether it's permit delays, and weather. And we know we've had some weather this year. All of that affects when your home will actually be ready. In coastal Delaware, we've actually seen builders push timelines, sometimes by weeks, sometimes it's months. And the buyers who've already sold their home, put furniture in storage, lined up movers, it can be incredibly stressful. Even when it's a second home. You want the home, you want to enjoy the season, etc. Your buyer's agent, also known as Debbie or someone else, is really going to keep the communication open with the builder's team. We're going to monitor, again, those hiccups, as I call them, and help plan for those contingencies. If your lease is expiring, we're gonna help you with short-term rentals. If you just wanna be in for the season, we're gonna work on all of that as well. And when closing day finally arrives, new construction closings, they're complicated. There's a lot to go through. Punch lists, walkthroughs, warranty documentation. Your agent, again, Debbie or someone else, needs to be right by your side, making sure that nothing slips through the cracks. Back to my favorite comment, hiccups. You just don't want any hiccups as you're really getting close to being handed the keys. And the last thing that I think I would really want to talk about is that we've promised you the full picture, the pros and cons, okay? I'm gonna really just wanna kind of try to put a bow on this, and I'm gonna call it a bow because I think it should be a bow, that there are some real challenges with new construction. And the one that trips up so many buyers is that many builders have a policy that your buyers must be present with you at a minimum or registered on your first visit to the sales office or model home. So what does that really mean? That means that whether you're on the phone or you're walking into model home and they say, are you working with a realtor? If you're inclined, say yes, okay? Because if you kind of set the table from the beginning of the conversation, they may not honor that compensation for your buyer's representation. And again, it's much easier to say I'm working with a realtor than to try to add it back at a later date. So again, the clients that I'm meeting tomorrow, I ask them up front, are you comfortable letting the sales reps that you may be encountering tomorrow know that we've been working together? I can't be at every single meeting that they may have tomorrow, but they said, absolutely, Debbie, because, and I loved hearing this, we need you and we want you to represent us. So before you really personally visit any new construction community, think about whether you would like to be represented by a buyer's agent. Not necessarily me, but any buyer's agent that you've worked with in the past or you've been communicating with. You just want to make sure that you have that opportunity. Maybe you don't follow through on it to the very end, but I would say you will be much safer and much more comfortable being represented with a buyer's agent. There are certainly, limits to what a buyer's agent can do for you, but they can do so much more for you than a sales rep can. The builder does have a standard contract, so the buyer's agent is not writing a contract. Every single builder has their own contract, but what the buyer's agent can do is read and review that contract to make sure that everything in that contract is understood to you, that you understand the clauses. Is there the right to arbitration? Can the builder make minor construction changes? Do they have to inform you? The timeline language that protects them from delays. The biggest one, of course, is always weather. Weather is unpredictable, but an experienced buyer's agent really understands this. They're gonna not waste time and energy fighting battles that are just not winnable. Instead, they, me, someone else, we're gonna focus on what we can negotiate, what we can make a difference for you, what we can get definitive results on. And they're gonna flag any clauses that are unusual or seem surprising, and they're gonna know which addendums should be attached to protect you further, okay? The con here is not having an agent. I'm gonna say it, I think it's bad, but again, I'm a buyer's agent, I'm a professional realtor. I really want the opportunity to represent you. But I will tell you, probably 60 to 70% of new construction is done without representation. Many of those transactions go along seamlessly without cause or concern, etc. But I always wonder, if you were represented, would you have gotten more? Would those individuals that were unrepresented maybe gotten, a little better incentive, gotten a better timeline, gotten potentially some upgrades? It's very possible, not just possible, highly probable, okay? So I want to say this out loud. Not every real estate agent is equipped to represent you well in new construction. Not all realtors have a lot of experience. One of the reasons that I personally do is because there is so much new construction here in coastal Delaware, and I made it a priority to understand the contract language, the builder relationships, and the full inspection process. Also, the lender coordination, because there's a different lender coordination with a lot of new construction communities. Many of the national builders want you to use their in-house lenders. They've got great programs and great processes, but they are slightly different than dealing with the mortgage lender that you may have dealt with in the past. I also know what concessions are available versus the waste of negotiating capital. So I'm gonna lean in and negotiate where I know we can get the best incentive, where we can get the best upgrade, where we can get the best timeline, or waive a lot premium. I'm absolutely gonna lean in and provide my advice. And when you interview agents for a new construction purchase, ask them directly, how many new construction transactions have you closed in the past year? I can tell you it's 50% of my business, okay? What builders have I worked with? I've worked with all the major ones. Beazer, Lennar, I've worked with Shell, I've worked with K-Hove, I've worked with D.R. Horton, I've worked with many. I've worked with Evergreen, okay? Evergreen is local to the coastal Delaware area. Ask these questions and do not be afraid to say, I'm just not sure you're the right fit, okay? The coastal Delaware new construction landscape is vast, it's changing, it's growing, it's happening. Literally, while I'm probably filming this video, someone is potentially thinking about a new construction community here in coastal Delaware. Our market is booming, okay? We've seen the growth. Buyers are relocating from the DMV, from DC, from Maryland, Virginia, New Jersey, New York. We've got Philadelphia, we've got all kinds of areas. And so many of these new buyers, they want new construction, and hence the market has responded. Some of the most active areas right now, you've got Millsboro, you've got Millville, you've got Selbyville, you've got Frankfurt, you've got Lewes. Sussex County is just a populating mushroom of new communities. They're adjacent to Rehoboth Beach, they're adjacent to Dewey Beach, they're adjacent to Bethany Beach, they're adjacent to Fenwick. And then, stepped a little bit outside in more of those, kind of suburban areas, you're gonna see them as well. So I will tell you that, in terms of builders, it's unbelievable that every major player is building in coastal Delaware. And that's national builders, and that's the very specific coastal builders like Shell and Evergreen and Christopher Company. But I will tell you that, and as we've said, Beazer, Lennar, K-Hove, D.R. Horton, DRB, Ryan, NVR, all building here. They all bring competitive pricing. They build fabulous communities with amenities and unbelievable floor plans. But they also really looking at this lifestyle in coastal Delaware. And each of these builders is slightly different. Their incentive windows, their flex points, their build quality reputations, they all vary, but they're all very solid. What you really want is a knowledgeable professional realtor who's going to be able to, say to you, if this is what you're looking for, I think these are the kinds of communities and builders you should really be looking at. Again, did this for the client that I'm going to meet yesterday. As we were talking through, I was able to kind of guide and influence this couple away from some of the communities that they were questioning, because after getting to know them, I just felt very strongly that a couple of the communities they were thinking about going to visit were just not the appropriate ones. So what I'm here to tell you is you don't have to figure it out all alone. You've got Debbie, okay? You know that I've got a relocation guide. All you have to do is say, send me your guide. You know that I'm available for chatting, for email. Meet me on Zoom. Let's have a conversation. But really, at the end of the day, new construction brings me joy. I'm sure it can bring you joy. Let's really bring this all together. And let's really talk about the fact that if you're considering a new construction home in coastal Delaware, or honestly anywhere, okay? Please make sure you're represented. It costs you nothing extra, but in most cases, well beyond the peace of mind, it's gonna give you an advocate who's in your corner from day one through closing day, and hopefully well after closing day. So I'm gonna protect you from, I call them the hiccups. They're also known as costly mistakes, okay? The pros are real and they're significant. Nothing comes out of your pocket for these services. Let your agent, hopefully Debbie or someone like Debbie, let her or him negotiate your upgauge, your credits, your contract terms, your independent pre-drywall inspections. Let's catch those hiccups before they become a pothole, okay? And let's have someone who's watching your back every single step of the way through closing day. There are cons. I've told you, not every builder really embraces buyer's agents, supporting you through the process. But if they don't support the buyer's agent, that should also be a red flag to you. So you know what I'm gonna say? I live here, I play here, I work here, I thrive here. I hope you're considering the same. And I am standing right now in my 5th new construction home in my life. So so most of those homes I bought before I became a professional realtor, and I will tell you, I would never buy new construction again without being represented. I think I can represent myself, I'm not sure, but I would absolutely never buy new construction, and I would never allow any family member to buy new construction without being represented by a professional realtor. And if I was not licensed in the state that they were considering buying in, I would strongly encourage them to, or I would find them a referral. So give me a thumbs up, share this with someone who you know. If it's not you thinking about buying new construction, love to have you subscribe. You know how to hit the button, okay? So you never miss what we're gonna cover next. If you don't wanna subscribe, I understand. Pop by and see me again. Until next time, Debbie, live, love, beach to bay.